Dear Diary, today I take the next step in being an ADHD life coach at Indigo Hub. I can't believe it's happening. I want to build, create, and discover a place for us to truly be ourselves. I think this journey will be the Indigo Diary. Dear Diary, welcome world to the Indigo Diaries, and welcome to Series 3, The World Through Our Eyes, with your host, me, Natasha Hickling. The Indigo Diaries is a podcast for those who want to learn about ADHD through others' experiences. And I've been so excited this series to have so many amazing guests so far. So if you've not gone and listened to one of the others, please go and do it, because we've had amazing guests from all over the world speaking about real crucial issues and problems and challenges, but also the strengths and amazingness of ADHD. So if you want help with procrastination or unfilled potential or the diagnosis process, then go back and look at one of our amazing guests. But I kind of wanted to take a week away from guests today, and I wanted to do my own. And it feels a bit weird because I've not done this for a while, so bear with me. So we're back today with a Pick the Brain session, which is questions from kind of the audience or clients where I've noticed these sort of questions in the kind of the ADHD field a minute, and I'm going to kind of address them and talk about them. And it's about coaching, which I was very happy about because obviously I'm an ADHD life coach. And a question I get asked a lot is, what is coaching? How does it help? Where to find one? Blah, blah, blah. I get so many questions because it is a very new field, especially in the UK. In America, it's been around a lot longer, but it is a very new and upcoming field with ADHD in the ADHD kind of treatment non-clinical approach. It is a very new field. And, you know, a lot of people, when I say I'm an ADHD life coach, are like, what is that? And I want to kind of give some feedback on kind of what it's like to not only be coached, but also what it is you can get from it. So you can really kind of make that informed decision. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to call this Coaching 101. But kind of before I kind of go into that, which I'm going to go into the parts in the second half. So if you just want kind of the key questions of what coaching is and things like that, please go to the second part after the advert. But I wanted to start off with kind of my experience, because I really think that's powerful of bringing my experience to this. This is why I started this podcast. And, you know, about a couple of months ago, I celebrated 2 years of actually been going through coaching for myself, because obviously I'm an individual with ADHD. And when I was diagnosed with ADHD, I'd never even heard of a coach, or I've heard of life coaches, but not really like an ADHD life coach. Had no idea what it was or what to expect. But I'd read a lot of books that said it was really good. So I thought, why not? And I kind of wanted to I've wrote a blog about this, I've wrote posts about this, but I wanted to kind of give a verbal kind of confirmation of kind of my experience. And I started with really not knowing. And I'd been kind of diagnosed for about 3 months or 6 months. And I'd not really started medication. I'd had therapy for a while, but I'd not really done it. And I firstly went through kind of some of the consultations with different types of coaches. I met my coach. And they were someone I was very pleasantly surprised. They were someone that just saw me for me, not the persona that I was putting on or the mask that I was wearing, but saw me. They just met me where I was, no judgment, and were probably my biggest encouragement. And that's what got me to work with them. And someone can keep my attention, can keep me focused, can get me thinking, can challenge me, but also listen to me in a way that I'd never been listened before. I couldn't really say no. So we worked on week by week, and I kind of worked on specific ADHD challenges that were aligned with who I am. So we did a lot of exploration about kind of my values, my strengths, who I was, my modalities, how my ADHD brain works, how it shows up. And when we kind of gathered all that information, I kind of then could design the strategies, because without that, it could, it might not work with who I am. It might not, it wasn't a tips and tricks. And I really liked that. It was more of allowing me to come to my own conclusions and to build strategies that worked for me.
And no one had ever given me permission to do things a different way. It was always, Tasha, you're not doing things right. You're not doing things enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You're not doing this. You need to sit here. You need to do it like this. You need to do it like this. Not once did I hear that. It was, okay, what do you want to do? What do you need? And I was like, whoa, this person is not telling me what to do. Is listening and working with the way I need to work. And that really was the benefit of it. And yeah, she kept me accountable. We'd meet and I didn't want to disappoint her the next week. I saw progress, and the strategies and everything were amazing. And, I have a lot of them now. I still have my wall of strategies, but I'm still building now because I'm still someone with ADHD. But the thing for me that was the key thing that I worked on was discovering who I was. Yeah, what I do is important, but who I was. They gave me hope, and I took back my life that I always deserved and always needed. Before I met her, I was surviving, and now I like to say I'm thriving, but 80% of the time. It was hard. It was tough. It took a long time, but for me, it was the best thing about my ADHD diagnosis and my ADHD treatment. Medication's great, yeah. Therapy's great, yeah. But coaching was the real practical thing that helped me to really unlock who I was, unlock what I needed, and unlocked me to take charge of my life. Not what people told me I needed to do, not what I should do, but what I want to do and what I can and capable of. And that was all down to my coach. Oh, and me, obviously. That's kind of my kind of perspective. And I still see my coach. Some people say you just stop after 6 months or a year. But for me, I like to have that monthly check-in. It just keeps me going because I still have things come up because I still have ADHD, and that's okay. And I still want to work on things. That's who I am. It's what is important to me to keep growing. So I keep her around because they're a very special human. So I'm going to take a break there, and I tried to keep it as concise as I could, but I forgot to put my timer on, of course. And we're going to come back after the break with kind of some key questions. So then you can kind of take that step into getting a coach that you might want and need. And we're out. If you would like any more information on Indigo Hub or our Indigo support group, then please check out our website below or our link to our social media platforms, or email at indigohub.adhd@gmail.com. If you would like to offer any comments, feedback, get support, or if you're interested in the world hearing your story, then please reach out through any of our avenues. As said before, have a positive week. Check in again later. And we're out. We're back. The first half today, I was kind of breaking down kind of my coaching experience. I think that's really important because it's easy to go, oh, what is coaching? What's the benefits of it? But to actually say I've been through it myself is probably the thing that I value the most. So now let's get into kind of the practical thing. What is coaching? What is it? What do they do? Coaching is kind of a partnership. It's not someone that's going to tell you what to do, give you the tips and tricks, which is usually what people think. But it's so much more than that. It's someone to partner with you, to help enlighten you, and to help you take charge and set up things that are right for you. I see it as I've always said this in previous podcasts, but I see it as like a lighthouse, and you're the boat and you're going through life and it's just pushing you down, and you can't see what you want, and you can't grasp it by yourself. If you could, you would have, or it's just really hard. And we get told to try harder, but that's not the case here. If we could, we would. And an ADHD coach is a partnership that you come together. They're an ADHD expert. You are your own expert in your own life. And you come together with no judgment, listen, acknowledge, and have someone that is going to help you design and take charge of your life and get the things that you want and that you're capable of. And also cheer you along the way, right? They're a coach. That's what they do. Or is it not? It's not someone to hold your hand. It's not someone that's going to do it for you. And that's quite a misconception. It's not someone that's going to tell you how to do it, give you advice, give you strategies, give you tips and tricks. It's a longer process than that, because life is not just a quick tip. It's long lasting. It's an exploration. How's it different from therapy? Well, therapy is more kind of emotional based, on coming from the past, working through trauma, and more about healing. Life coaching, well, that's very much the same as coaching, but with a non-ADHD specific focus. A lot of ADHD life coaches actually have ADHD themselves, or have a partner with it, or have kids with it, and usually have an ADHD connection. But they've also been trained in ADHD specific life coaching, which is life coaching, the process of how you do it, but it has an ADHD lens, which means you don't need to say, I'm sorry, or does that make sense? Because they get it. How can it benefit you? Well, I can't list off loads of benefits because it really depends on person to person. But basically, it helps you get your stuff done, learn about your brain, learn about who you are, take charge, do things a different way, learn how your ADHD brain works. And the list is endless, but it really depends on you, because it's very much client and personal centered. So whatever benefits you want, you could get. What to expect? Well, yet again, it depends on the coach, right? But just like any professional, everyone has different styles, different niches, anything like that, right? But the basis of it is usually a 20-minute free consultation. Shop around, go and look at different coaches. And a lot of coaches give that 20 minutes because you've got to see if you like them, but they've got to see if they like you as well. A lot of coaches have different packages, different pricing, long-term versus short-term, remotely, in person, if they work with kids, if they work with families, if they work with older people, it all really depends. And it's just about finding that niche and getting yourself out there to meet different people to find out what is right for you. And the big question I always get is, where do you find one? Well, that's a hard one, especially in the UK. But there is kind of 5 places that I like to go. Is the ACO, which is the Association of ADHD Life Coaches, which is an American-based place, but there are a lot of UK coaches on there. ADHD UK is a charity, and they have lots of, including myself, have coaches that do a Ask a Coach session, go and see what that's like. It's kind of like a dip into coaching. ADA, which is the ADHD charity in America, there's a lot of UK coaches on there as well. And Life Coach Directory, which is a directory for life coaches, but they do have an ADHD life coach section. And then there's good old Google, right? But they're kind of places that you can go to find that more specific. Because going through Google, I don't know about you, drives me crazy, overwhelms me, shuts me off. I'm probably not going to go back to it. So that's kind of like my coaching 101. And it's a hard place, and there's no right or wrong way to find a coach or what you need or different specifics, because everyone is different with ADHD or not ADHD. Everyone in the world is different. Everyone needs a different program. Everyone needs a different thing. But it's just about putting yourself out there and trying if you need it. If you don't want to cope anymore, if you don't want to do things by yourself, relieve that stress. Get a coach. Join us in 2 weeks where I'll be bringing back a guest, not just me, Rabbit Sam. And if you're interested in coming on as a guest or have questions or dilemmas or want to share your experience in series 1 with hearing your story, then please reach out through our social media avenues and email, which are all below and all on our picture. But I always like to leave with an encouragement, because I think it's nice to have that. A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change your life. And I 100% agree with that. And if you want help, then reach out, because we're here and we're here to help. So I hope you come back, learn, listen, and experience the world through not my eyes, but our eyes. Why not? Why not reach out today? What are you waiting for? Have a great week. And we're out.
Dear Diary, As Indigo Hub's process goes on, it makes me stop and wonder, could there be more for us? More light, more experience, and more ways to see the world through our own eyes. I think this journey